It is round robin number 2, the opening race between INEOS Team UK and American Magic. Take a look at INEOS Team UK on your left-hand side of your screen. On the right-hand side, a non-foiling American Magic. We were talking to our man and chase boat, one Nathan Outage early, saying the conditions, Kenny Reid and Shirley Robinson, were looking a lot more favourable to foiling racing.
Yeah, that looked really telling to me already, Shirley. These guys are up and going, and the Americans were having to get towed up on their foils. Kind of interesting start to this contest.
They've got currently 9 or 10 knots at the start line, but we've seen more. I mean, this thermal wind that comes in from the west coast came in with the flurry. It was stronger. I don't think this is going to be straightforward, Kenny. It's still a tricky race course.
Let's go on to the race course itself with Nathan Outage to get a feel for what the conditions are doing right now ahead of this race start. Nathan?
Well, the conditions are playing games with everyone out here. 1 minute you think it's about to come in and build to 12 to 15, and then it drops back down to 8 knots again. As you saw there, American Magic needed to get towed up onto the foil to get going. INEOS decided, no, there's enough breeze and it's okay for them. But it's going to be tricky, and this is all going to be about winning this start. And we know Ben Ainsley is very aggressive in these pre-starts. It's going to be a balance between being aggressive and staying on your foils this whole pre-start.
I am fascinated by this race, Shirley. This is so telling to the rest of the series. So, at such an early stage, I never thought I'd say we have kind of a critical race, because if Ainsley's okay, if INEOS is okay getting up on the foils in this condition, that opens up a whole rest of their world, where they're going to develop, how they're going to develop.
Yeah, and they're yesterday we saw them sailing with such confidence in those pre-starts, and if they feel they've got boat speed as well in these light airs,
we'll do enough in a minute.
They're going to be solid.
He just looks relaxed. I mean, he's just driving the boat like it's, you know, he's in his own Volkswagen Beetle, just cruising down the road.
Pressure coming, more pressure coming. 3, 2 minutes and 10 seconds.
What you don't go out to 28. Come in on the port entry. American Magic will have starboard entry. The one talking point so far you might consider with American Magic 2 will be, of course, tactics and how they have raced so far in this Prada Cup Challenger Series.
Happy to come down in 2. Working down now. Yep. He's just fallen off the foil. Copy. Stand by, tag here. Copy, crossing. Oh no, just keep it low.
Critical moment here.
Huge mistake here.
Yeah,
This is the umpires, USA, early entry.
Early entries. They've already got a penalty and they're off the foils above the line. That was all their setup. They tacked too early when they went to enter. And you know, from a minute out there, you could see they were going to have big problems.
So why is it, I think right now, this is really telling also that Ainsley didn't go right after him. Usually in a situation, you see somebody who's kind of wounded as the other boat, you go right after him and try to get more penalties on him. But he just let it go because he knows how important it is just to keep it up on the foil. Let them flounder, they have a penalty, keep it on the foils.
For the British team now, it's all about time and distance, just keeping it up and also judging when to go for that start line.
Turning. Little lighter on this exit. Coming up out of this. Copy.
60 seconds to start of round robin phase number 2 and race number 1.
Your wheel.
INEOS Team UK already have 2 points. They are perfect so far in this Challenger Series. American Magic are off the fours and already have a penalty for early
holding up,
entry.
holding up. Coming on. Big on, boys.
Is up and killing high, going above the line.
INEOS, they had a lot of time so far. 30 seconds in these boats is amazing. So just try and slow down.
Yeah, coming down here.
Dangerous.
Fly.
Dangerous in its own way, though, right? Being early.
20 seconds to start here. Still killing a couple of
Going on here right now.
Yeah, I'm ready.
This could be another penalty if they can't get on.
He's on the lane. It's going to be a bump. Turning up. Turning up hard. Yep. All the way, boys.
The American boat getting
Stand by, tack.
No, I think just didn't avoid them in any way.
Penalty, is that a penalty?
Penalty cleared. Penalty cleared.
Not getting into the starting line on time. I think that's what it might have been, Shirley. We'll have to double check that.
We are away in racing in the second round robin phase of the Prada Cup Challenger Series, race number 1. INEOS Team UK looking to go 3-0. It is a 6-leg race. Meanwhile, poor old American Magic was trying to get up on the foils.
Stephen, we keep saying this, and we're early in the piece.
He's following us.
These are scenes we've never seen before. One boat sitting there, and another boat literally doing circles around it in the pre-start. Shirley, help me out here. I've never seen anything like this before.
I mean, that was an unforced error. I mean, Nathan talked us through that beautifully. They were early into the box. They were trying to slow down, fell off the foils.
18.
Made their life hard.
2, 1, board down. Okay, go forward. High pitch. I will.
Guys, and just quietly, we're just next to INEOS Team UK where they take. American Magic is still not boiling. They are
looks light after the start.
But as we go up the race course, the breeze looks good. I'm shocked that they're not even falling. This is just unbelievable what's unfolding right now. INEOS Team UK are ripping up the course. And American Magic is sailing 90 degrees to the wind, trying to get on the foil with very little success.
Thanks, Nathan. Let's just go back to the start. We've talked about how important starts can be. Wow, this was important. American Magic getting pinged for an early entry.
Yeah, this is all about setup and how you get into the race course. They're coming in early. Remember, they can't cross that small line, this line right here, until 2 minutes. And they're really worried about being too early to cross that line. They try to slow down too much. And surely, as we've seen, you get below that 20-knot barrier or so, you're likely going to end up in the water. That's exactly what they couldn't do. That's really the only thing they couldn't do, and they did it, unfortunately.
And if you put that could be a game changer if the wind is good.
Yeah, and as Nathan said, it's kind of a course of 2 halves. We're looking at INEOS now. They've got great breeze up there, but currently in the starting box, the 7 or 8 knots. So the rich
Same again here, boys. We're going to be back before that lull. Only got about 35
There is a scary sense of what happened yesterday for INEOS Team UK for all the right reasons. They don't have to worry about another boat at this point. They're racing their own race.
We'll have to roll. Copy.
Thank you.
Moment potentially laying, but taking us up here. Yeah. Coming up. Okay. Nice there. I'm out to get here. I pitch if you want. Yours. Check his level. Do tack bear away at the moment. Yeah, copy that. Still looks light on the left. Little softer here, nice in the can. If we get a big down, I'm worried we're sailing too low. Light on inside us, there's light everywhere, unfortunately. Copy. Another band out there. Mode changes here.
For all you sailors at home, that is the conversation between a skipper and a tactician that every boat needs to try to develop, because that is called connecting the dots, right, Shirley? That is absolutely, they're looking for the puffs and being really communicative as to where they want to place this boat for its best performance.
Okay.
I don't think there's many people that Ben Ainsley would listen to, but Giles Scott is definitely one of them. I mean, gold medalist in the Finn class, the class Ben sailed from there. He's calm and collected and solid.
INEOS Team UK approaching the top gate for the first time and have come off their foils. You heard Ben Ainsley say, Giles Scott, it's pretty light up there. Well,
trying to keep it rumbling here so we'll have enough
They have
super light on the right. We'll get left turn here a bit.
Yeah, guys, I'm up here at the top mark, and it's about 5 knots at this top gate.
A little bit of current taking
over
us
on
off
that boundary near North Head, it's about 12 knots. It's nervous moments. I can see American Magic. They are aiming at the top marks in this pressure, doing probably 30 knots. And this race is far from over.
30.2 to be exact. Nathan, in this race is far from over. As we saw the first time, we reported that we had never seen a race have a boat that was over a half a leg ahead at one time or another, and here we go again.
Really big puff. Be able to pace it up.
Look at the speed difference on the bottom left of your screen. 31.3 to 5 knots against them. Not even a knot. Here comes the cavalry.
Big hole here coming in 10. Maybe two more in.
You could walk faster than INEOS at the moment. Imagine looking behind. That is a car coming towards you at 40 miles an hour.
But are they going to park? They have to go through this. They have to navigate this same light air patch that INEOS is in right now. Ainsley's not even going to look at them. And they do. They park. They park.
He may not lay there. Kenny, it's a complete car park at the top mark at the moment, and not a breath of wind when I look upwind, so they could be sitting here for a couple of minutes.
Trying to get down here at the moment. Have a good look at that breeze off North Edge, hello. Yeah, copy. It's just light on that at the moment. I mean, it's there, but you can't get straight into it. Okay.
The voice is on INEOS Team UK.
Yeah. That's where it's going to build from, isn't it? You know? Yeah. Okay. Going forward up here.
They were super lucky they made that mark.
I think he's gonna have to go that way.
Could that be the slowest mark rounding you have ever seen?
Oh, but trust me, on the boats I sailed, I've gone a lot slower around the mark before.
Maybe it just stands out more because we're so used to speed of these AC-75s, but INEOS Team UK have rounded the top mark for the first time. That's the best way to do it. Lay back and enjoy it.
Pressure above us.
Going trap, big trap. All the way.
That breeze comes in from the right now. INEOS is a little vulnerable, aren't they, Nathan? American Magic can pick it up first.
Yeah, exactly. It's a tough position. When you are leading going downwind and no one's foiling, the boat behind actually gets the advantage. If they're both foiling, then the advantage switches back. But right now, all it takes is American Magic to get a little puff, and they could get up and going and be halfway down the run before INEOS gets that same piece of pressure. But I don't see a whole lot right now. You know, looking further upwind, maybe a minute or two away. So just see how this unfolds.
Just okay.
Almost doubling the speed right now. Not fast, but American Magic has quite a bit more speed than INEOS does. But INEOS looks to be sailing into that same little bit of pressure.
Anywhere you like.
Copy. Doesn't look like there's enough to get going here for a little bit. So
He's with us to leeward, okay?
copy that.
Not enough breeze to get going yet, so just sort of VMG, far side of VMG. Yeah, hopefully it'll feed in. That breeze is still just hanging out there, so we just want to try and punch it to the top of it.
This reminds me of the good old days, Shirley, back here. USA 77 in 2003 and USA 55 in 2000. Going about this speed. Actually, this would be pretty quick.
Terry's got various spots, having a good look around.
Is where you're at
exactly
right
what
here.
they need.
So after scampering away at the start, INEOS Team UK have basically stalled, as have American Magic, with light air as predicted by Nathan Atteridge at the top gate. Now the challenge is to get up on the foils on the downward leg. We're now on leg 2 of 6.
We're only 200 metres off.
Talking about how close they are to the border. They don't want to go out of bounds. They don't want to go off sides.
For what it's worth, the gap was 1 minute 50 seconds. Just for what it's worth.
I'm going to take this clock away from you. That's all. That's what we're going to do.
We get stuff off the helicopter, maybe use it for the jibe.
It's one of those days, surely, we're getting the whole box of chocolates, aren't we? We really are.
I can feel the tension. I'm feeling the tension. It might not be 40 knots around the course, but it's exciting.
It has brought a whole new dimension to light air sailing, frankly. It really has. And yeah, it's incredible.
Onto the wall with Nathan Atteridge. Nathan, can you see any wind?
Well, we were actually sitting underneath the helicopter there, and we had plenty of breeze coming from above us. And I could hear Terry Hutchinson saying, maybe we could get this little helicopter puff and get going. But right now, what's actually happening is just a massive right-hand shift. The breeze has gone maybe 40 degrees to the right, and as you can see, both boats are sailing a pretty high angle. Patriot's almost going back towards the top mark. That's how much of a right-hand shift we've got. And the wind is just bouncing over North Head. And you can hear Giles Scott just saying there right now, I think we need to go back the other way because the pressure is all down this northern boundary. Where the boats are sailing from at the moment, they're sailing away from the pressure. But if they jibe and come back, they're just going to go out of bounds once again. So tough decision for the tacticians at the moment to do lots of jibes or to try and stretch it out far enough that you can jibe back on the port jibe, get it up on the foil and get down this race course.
That tidal line that would be a little...
Who do you feel picks it up first?
Worried about the tide.
Well, as I was saying before, I think the boat behind might have the advantage here. They might get the pressure before. You know, I imagine if American Magic jibe any time out, INEOS are going to jibe to match. And I reckon in about 30 seconds there's going to be enough pressure for both boats to be foiling on port jibe.
Nathan, we just heard on the British boat, Giles saying, you know, are we getting worried about the tide? I mean, we're right at the time, aren't we, with the tide begins to change. How will that affect it?
Well, definitely, Shirley, the tide has changed. We're sitting here actually drifting upwind. The current is taking us towards the top mark. So that's why the boats don't look like they're making much headway.
And Nathan, we can really see a tide line here right now. There's a tide line, and I think that's the line that they're really worried about crossing, because you were saying how the current is doing different things on one side of the race course versus the other.
If he jives, we're probably going to have to follow him.
Yeah, 100%, and I think right now, INEOS and American Magic, if they jive now, they'll be coming into good pressure, and you don't want to be going across that current line at the moment.
There is a pressure band there. We've got, with 2 minutes, we're in the smack bang in the middle of the course right now. Bit of a puff in 5. Just,
you know, one of the things, Shirley, that has become part of the game in this lighter air is setting yourself up with enough runway on the race course that if a puff does come, you don't get up on the foils and then have to jibe and come right off again. So you hear them talking about being in the center of the race course to try to at least use a puff for a fair chunk of time.
Yeah, I mean, they're essentially just going back and forward, boundary to boundary, and you hope that you time it, that you've got enough runway when the puff comes.
10 knots of speed again.
It is just worth noting, as we are still stuck, you might say, we've got on leg number 2 of 6 in round robin 2, race number 1, that there is a 45-minute time limit, and they are well under that 35-minute mark now. The last race between Luna Rossa and American Magic was taken down to a 4-leg race, but we're still sitting on a 6-leg race at this current time. Now, the race committee might choose to change that, considering what the wind does. So we will just wait and see and sit patiently with anticipation for the wind to come.
Come the whole way around there. Yeah, if we punch through this, we might have a go at it. I think we just stay BMG's displacement. Fast mode though, I think. 8 knots here.
Well, hearing the voice of Giles Scott on the British boat, stay displacement mode for now with the sails all eased. Soon, he said, we might have a go at it. Remember, they need, you know, at least 18, 19 knots of boat speed just to get up, to get the acceleration to get up.
It is a really tactical call right now, though, whether you even try to foil or not. And I think early in the World Series, we saw boats trying to foil in unfoilable conditions. Now they're at least taking like an old-style VMG run down the race course in this displacement mode, getting a little distance down the track and not just burning up that distance trying to do something that's actually impossible.
You know there are going to be people saying displacement mode. Displacement mode simply means they're sailing like non-foiling boats.
They're in the drink.
They're in the drink. That's what displacement means. They're in the drink.
Well, okay, boys.
Maybe just,
Actually,
Hey, Stephen, one little observation here from on the water. All the spectators that are down this northern boundary, their flags are flapping hard. There is breeze down that side of the course, and it's who's going to get over to this boundary first, and if they can pick it up and get foiling. it's just really odd that the race course is the only part of the waterway that I can see now that doesn't have the wind. The spectators seem to be blocking that
We will be
race.
shortening the course to 4 legs, so you will finish at the second leeward gate.
We expected that, Stephen and Shirley and Nathan, that shortened course from 6 legs down to 3, so that's only 2 laps. So, but the time limit is still the ever-looming factor at this stage.
It's just whether we can connect. You know, these flags are just so. It just looks like there's something
there's
right on
pressure
the
right
boundary.
there, Shirley. I mean, it just looks like it's breezy. Right? Look at that
stay
puff.
with him right now.
Look at some of these puffs out on the race course. That's a big puff right there, and these puffs are shooting down the race course that way. You would think that at some stage here, they'd be able to pop the boat out of the water. It looks kind of puffy on that, like Nathan said, puffy on that side of the race course.
That north head is high. It is really high, and the wind is light, and it's just like the odd puff of wind can escape down, down from that high ground. It's a difficult race course.
Similar pressure to us. We'll get this puppy. He does.
It looks a little better inside, but it's only.
Yeah, there's plenty of breeze down this left side of the race course. Remember, dark water means a puff. Nathan, you ever think in this displacement mode that any of these teams would try pulling both of their foils out of the water at the same time?
Kenny, that's a great question, but honestly, I don't think they have the capability to do that. I think the way that the boats are made and the amount of hydraulic pressure or hydraulic fluid that's in there, the way they're designed, you can have one board up, you can have both boards down, but you can't have both boards up at the same time. So I don't think that's an option.
Maybe they can think about it, Kenny.
Just throwing it out there. I get interesting texts from it. I can't take credit for that one. I got a very interesting text at the time. I think they might flip over if they pull the both up at the same time.
That is a group of fans that would like to see American Magic earn their first point in the Prada Cup Challenger Series. At the moment, they're the only team not to be on the board, but there is a good sign. INEOS Team UK, who are 2-0 so far, getting up and trying to stay up on those foils.
More down here.
See, they came into that boundary.
There is a bit of pressure inside. Max rudder. Max rudder. Copy. Go back into VMG down here to open up some space.
Just needs a frustration, but it's really all that breeze is down that side of the race course, so they might be running into that wall more often than you think. What a shame. But surely, at the same time, we've never said INEOS is getting out of the water more easily than another boat in a race before. This is new. This is something completely new.
Yeah, I think they'll be positive from this. I mean, this is a different looking outfit we saw in the light, difficult
conditions. We're better off displacement, driving and going, having another crack at it back the other way.
They're racing.
Yeah, just need the runway to do so. Staying in displacement here. Copy. Let us know when you think, Charles. It's getting lighter this way, yeah? Yeah, I think we go soon. Yeah, do it. Driving. Slow trav up. Okay, slow trav up. Okay, go for it. Going back. Just not quite getting into the course that breeze. Lots of flap here.
While we are waiting for either of these boats to fall and through, they call them telltales. There's a little green dot with what I would call piece of string off them. I've seen them on Formula One cars for like the aero. What are they telling us here at the moment? That there's not a lot of wind.
They're saying there's no wind. That's exactly. Even you non-sailors can figure that one out. I'm proud of you, big fella. That's good. There's no wind. That's what that means right now. Their sails all bunched up.
And just purely from a sailing standpoint, how important are those?
Well, right now down there.
Hey guys, sorry to interrupt your chat, but American Magic are up and foiling, picked up a puff. I hate to do this to you all the time when you're having such a good chat, but they are absolutely ripping, and this race is getting tense.
It's okay, Nathan. You're allowed to jump in when there's something happening, because we've been waiting for something to happen. Nathan Outeridge on the Chase Boat 1 VMG sitting at 20 knots. Now, VMG, we make sure we get this one clear. The importance of VMG, velocity made good, Ken.
Yeah, the speed towards the mark. It's the combination of speed and angle towards the mark.
What do you see the other way?
But I think as we saw in the last race, you take any VMG at this stage just to stay up on the foil. And just as we're saying this, the Brits got up on the foil as well. So they're both going 30 knots and about 7 knots of wind speed. Unbelievable.
So being patient has paid off for the moment.
Okay.
Starting to fill in, or is this just still a really puppy situation, Nathan?
Here we go. 19. Forward. Yep.
It's just pulsing in, and when it comes in, it's a big right shift. Look at both boats almost look like they're aiming at each other at the moment. But for sure,
the tactics going, boys.
It's not a stable fill. It's a short burst, and I don't think that's going to be the last time we get a burst and followed by another lap.
So we're coming into this mark here, Stephen, on the race course, trying to get our bearings.
That's the ley line on the box, but obviously going to give it heaps here. Max, slow there for me. Okay, keep it ripping here. I need a little ease. Don't want to go light, Jas. I reckon I'm going to go here. Yeah, happy just as a crossing. Give it a couple for the mark.
Huge right-hand
down.
shift.
Turning. Made it. Go hard on the jib. Okay. Ready? My wheel. Now. Yeah, got it. Your wheel. My wheel. Nice. Building here. 23s. Slowly coming away here. Yep.
American Magic, let's listen on board as they see INEOS Team UK head away to that bottom mark.
He's showing enough radio now to get in.
Copy. We should be able to get going here, it feels like.
INEOS Team UK around the bottom gate for the first time. Remember, this is a shortened race. It was 6 legs, and how it's 4.
How's the pressure to boundary here? 30 seconds.
They are now halfway through this race.
Copy. Yep. Okay, stand by. Crossing. 2, 1, board down. Turning. Wide out of this, wide out. Copy. Jumping on. Jumping on now. 18s. My wheel. 19s. Okay, main on. All the way on. 20s. Here we go. Nice. That's coming here.
Wow, that was
23s.
Right?
Yeah.
He kept saying wide out. What that means is I don't care where we're heading. We just got to bear off and try to get as much apparent wind as possible to keep this thing on the foil.
And you heard the slight panic in the voice when it got to 18 knots of boat speed.
Okay, taking a height when we can for pressure. Yep. That's nice. Happy 1 or 2 clicks out on the can, please.
Hey, Kenny, that was, we were right next to when they did that tack.
No lower for red.
There's no way they would have pulled that off in December.
You can come down 5 if you want. Come down 10 if you want. No problem.
That it was working in the light wind just as well
Got
as the
one
medium
more
breeze.
puff, I think, here, Ben.
Super impressive to watch as a sports fan.
Here.
Man, I just can't understand how they could make that boat go so much better in this wind.
Super wide here. Copy. Big wide here.
Time would be
Gonna go wide for the
bring into that discussion.
Stand by.
They needed time.
Crossing here.
All these teams lost 2 World Series, one in Cagliari, one in Portsmouth, and they were rushed into a situation, and development and being able to get onto the water has cost a lot of teams development time. So we're seeing the evolvement of boats through when it counts, the Prada Cup.
And I think they needed the reality check of those pre-Christmas regattas as well. I mean, you can't underestimate how much work has gone on at INEOS during this break. Everything's different, Kenny. Above the water, below it, it's kind of looks the same, but it's all new.
And we have a new kind of weak player in the light as of today. You know, there's no question. Listen, there's a lot of, let's put it one way, there's a lot of luck involved on a day like today, right? But there's also skill and speed creates luck in a way. It's just too much of a coincidence that American Magic is now struggling against two boats in very similar conditions. When the other boat is finding a way to pop out of the water, they aren't. So, boy, oh boy, I don't know if they expected to be this weak in this condition.
All the way the mast, boys, all the way. Back front of there. I will.
Back down again.
Pressure coming back. Up in.
Just under 20 minutes remaining for the maximum time allowed for this race. The time limit is 45 minutes.
Big sting coming and then. Copy. Okay, it's 10 knots, 10 knots now. Okay, main up. Okay, bit of trap.
The Union Jack flying proudly. And they might just get to the end of this race if we can finish the race within the time limit and have a perfect record.
Americans must be getting close to flying right now, going 17 knots. That's got to be very close. We know that's kind of that zone, right, Shirley? That right on the edge. Oh, you can see the bow just trying to pop out of the water. Come on.
Big sting coming on here.
They're still going to get around the gate.
Yeah. Boats, you never know by looking at these shots what leg they're on, because it's really irrelevant. There they go. There goes the Americans up on the foils. Great shot there. Now they're going to take a left turn. When these guys get up on the foils, they're going to take a right turn.
How stunning is that to see a boat of that size and weight pop out and then put the hammer down?
What's the speed? What was in the last race? What's the speed difference of 30 knots between boats amongst friends?
Anyone's guess. I mean, it's bloody hard to see. Main on here. We're beginning to sail out that localized path. Pressure on here. Have a crack at it here. Easy, switch. Easy. 13. Okay. Main on. 14.
Nathan, again, I don't think that's the biggest jib on American Magic, is it?
Bit more pressure to come, 16.
Kenny, I think you're right. There's almost like a metre gap from the top of the jib to where the headstay joins the mast. So that could be their 1.5 jib, you know, the in between the ones and the twos. But it's just surprised me they're not trying to get maximum power. And the other thing that is really telling right now is that the American Magic hull, we know, is quite sticky. There's a lot of surface area. It doesn't reduce surface area as quick on the takeoffs, and that's where they're really struggling, is trying to get that boat out of the water.
Okay, you good? Turning. Coming up. Yep. Big mate. I will. Nice work, guys. 20s. 21. Yeah. Speed coming.
It is just Remember how excruciating it was during the World Series, watching them try to get around the race course on like that? Now they're working on a half a lap ahead right now of their arch rival.
Just keep pressure there.
We've made a lot, haven't we, about the changes in the foils. These are actually the same foils that we saw pre-Christmas, just modified, cleaned up, a lot less water coming out of them, but actually, when you look at the sails as well, Kenny, way more dynamic, powerful when they need it, flat when they need it. Massive change.
There's been plenty of work on that sail plan, and I think, yeah, like you said, it's as important. There's no question about that.
Ready.
How quickly they can change modes from full to flat and return is nothing short of a miracle. It's incredible.
Coming out wide.
We'd love to see, wouldn't we, between the two skins of the mainsail. There's all sorts of magic going on in there. I mean, they can really flatten those sails, bend the mast.
Okay, up on here.
Incredible.
Coming down here, isn't it?
I think setting up more and more like a dinghy, like a foiling dinghy, huge loads on the downhaul, lots of bends.
The quickest way to get going upwind is going to be left gate here.
American Magic were showing signs of rounding the bottom gate, but they have just basically touched down again, while at the other end of the course, INEOS Team UK are approaching their penultimate gate rounding and before heading home on the home run.
Attacking over here. Attacking once we've still got some speed.
So guys, we've just been following INEOS this whole upwind, and they've been doing a great job right until that very moment there of attacking in all the little bits of pressure. They're sailing it like a dinghy, Shirley. They are switched on, and even though they're off the foils right now, I can see there's a little bit of pressure coming. The question is do they try and get it up and foiling before these marks, or do they just do VMG in the water and get to those marks? But I'm impressed with what they're doing with that boat.
He's stuck at the bottom still.
Nathan, there's about 15 minutes, just under 15 minutes left of maximum race time of 45. Do INEOS finish this race?
Okay. I think we're best just to get through displacement here, Gillo.
I think that's the big question. You know, right now they're sailing as if they deserve the win, but if the wind drops out, they're not going to get there. But if it comes in, which is why you've asked me, is the wind going to come in and get them to the finishing line? I'm going to say they're going to make it with a couple of minutes up their sleeve.
I'm going to hold you to that.
Big call, big call.
Huh? About time he made a big call.
Easy, Jim Moore, going to get the boat flat. Coming up slightly.
Yeah, well, that's why you guys pay me the big bucks, right?
American Magic get around the bottom gate. They're halfway through the race, but that distance, and this time I'm going to call it, 8 minutes and 47 seconds behind, Ken.
Enough pressure right in that Anderson sail straight up there. Yeah, right boundary.
And it is a similar position at the top of the course. Would rather be at the top of the course with one lap to go.
Yeah, I think we're left early, John.
One leg to go, than at the bottom of the course with a full 2 legs up the sleeve.
To think, I know I'm belaboring this point, but the role reversal of the INEOS package, and let's call this boat a package, because that's what it is. It's a package of all kinds of bits and pieces. The changes they have made is just short of a miracle compared to, what, 2.5, 3 weeks ago. It's incredible.
Well, this is a discussion about being able to get the maximum out of the package once you get it right.
Well, I think they had some inherent, I think Shirley and I were talking about this morning and cut in on this, but I think they had some inherent deformation problems with their wings, and I think they've figured out a way to solidify the shape of the wing and actually to get them to work as they should work, and they weren't doing that during that World Series.
And we all saw it, the viewers all saw it pre-Christmas. The water is coming out of that foil. I mean, we all wondered what was going on, and we don't see that now. We see a little bit of water escaping, but nothing like it was. So they had a major issue, which in many ways is a relief, isn't it? When you're not going well, to actually find the cause.
Yeah, you can come down a couple here, not much, that's it. Hold that. Bit of mess. Yeah, you can come down another 5. Go mess.
Crawling
I'm happy here, Ben.
To the top mark for the last time, the top gate.
Doesn't matter.
They just, you might say, you could say sachet around.
We should get down. Okay. 6 knots there. Race against time here, obviously, boys. How long we got? How long we got? Got just over 6. Okay. Touch of main there.
They know they're racing. They know they're racing against the clock, Shirley. You just heard them talking about it. Here we are on this foil that we're talking about. A couple really obvious things. Last week we saw all these all these rivets, screws all over the place, and then we saw a big seam down the center of it. We don't see any of that anymore. So somehow they have completely covered this side, the weather side of the foil, and it just looks, believe it or not, right? It's the same foil as we saw during that Christmas event, and it just looks completely different.
I think we're probably not too far off.
I mean, you know, even in a slow boat, if you have a scratch or something wrong with your keel or your rudder, I mean, it's a massive effect on boat speed, but you can only imagine Going at this speed, what difference that makes?
Yeah. We were joking around yesterday about they're now black instead of red too. So obviously, you know, black foils must be faster than red foils at this stage.
10 minutes left for maximum race time. That's right, 10 minutes now under. Can INEOS Team UK make it to the finish line inside the time limit? 9:46 and counting down. That clock now suggests if you're not across the finish line before then, you're in trouble. In the meantime, as you can see in the background, American Magic up on the foils. Where there is wind, there is hope.
That is exactly true. Where there is height, where there is a dry boat, there is hope. And can they just keep it up there during these maneuvers? That's where they've struggled. They keep splashing down in these maneuvers. 20 knots of speed through the maneuver, that's typically fast enough. And sure enough, I think they're going to pull this one off.
It's all above us.
Nathan, the thing is, these guys got a nice puff. Why didn't the Brits have that puff as it came down through the race course?
Well, they took the wrong top mark. On the other side of the course, on that north-head side, 11 knots of breeze, and it looked like they were just happy just going downwind away from that breeze. I know it's easy to say that in hindsight, but they're going to pick up this pressure pretty soon. Looking upwind of them and where they're heading, INEOS, they're going to have enough breeze in a minute. But the breeze comes down the course in waves. You get a puff, you get a lull. And right now it's just American Magic's turn to have the breeze. And what INEOS are hoping right now is they get this pressure and they can get there in this time limit. I'm starting to get nervous, Stephen, that my 2 minutes is... It could be struggle now.
It's okay, Nathan. It's okay. You can make a call and not get it right. It's all right.
Welcome to the media, Nathan.
Magnificent shot of Ben Ainsley on the helm of INEOS UK. You could almost cut all that picture out, and he looks like an explorer looking out across a wilderness, like on the top of a mountain or something. He just looks very much in control.
Well, at some stage you have a little chuckle up there too. When one boat's going 25 knots faster than you are, you know, and you're sitting there in no wind, what can you do? So all these guys, the tug of emotion between 0 to 0 and back again, I mean, it's no fun, and sometimes you just got to have a little laugh.
The clock is working against them all, though. A little over 7 minutes left for maximum race time. That's maximum race time, and
press on it, please.
American Magic is yet to round the top gate for the final time, whereas INEOS Team UK are on the homeward run. And if they find that win, they get that puff, that pressure, all this wonderful foiling from American Magic could be for naught.
Well, imagine if American Magic came from an entire leg down to win this race. I mean, I wonder if they could get it. I guess we could find some smart people. If they could physically get to the finish line in 6 minutes from where they are. And here we go. Here's where the clock starts. Right now.
6 minutes and 21 seconds. They get up in their foils. But the spectator craft will be a little bit nervous right now. What a magnificent place to be.
I'm not so sure. I think there's some nervous folks right there.
But how exciting. You can imagine phones out there clicking away, videos on, saying, guess where we were at this particular point in time.
Stephen, what a great job when it really matters. And they had the tiniest little kiss of the hull on the water, and it just
it is generally better, but like to eke this out as much as you can.
So this is going to be interesting because I'm going to go back to what Nathan Alfred said on water. He said they'll get them within 2 minutes. We're currently at 5.5 minutes.
Stand by, 2, 1, 4
it's going to be tight.
Well, they're going to start jiving down that in our screen, the left side of the race course. We think all the breeze is on the left-hand side, and they're going to do more maneuvers than normal in order to try to stay there. I don't know if that was a boat problem. I think that looked like a boat problem or a mistake right there. They landed that one inadvertently.
How close was that if you're a spectator?
There's a few
what a moment.
There's a few Instagram clicks going on right there. There's a few new photos going up on Instagram as we speak. That's phenomenal. Well, we wanted to keep the crowd, Shirley. We wanted to keep the crowd in the game, and guess what? They're in the game.
Stand by. Crossing. High pitch. 2, 1 board down.
So we're on the final leg for INEOS Team UK. We've just heard, and 4 minutes and 19 and counting towards maximum race time. Otherwise, all this work is for 0. But we've just heard, we got some onboard audio while we were looking at INEOS Team UK, that there may have been a rudder problem with American Magic.
Tripping on slowly now.
Something looked awkward in that last tack, like they had some sort of issue. So that kind of makes sense. Here we go. 4 minutes to go.
This looks all right. Okay, it's just okay.
Feels like a time trial now.
It is a time trial. The third competitor is that cloud. You can finally talk about the clock, my friend. Come on. Here's your chance.
3 minutes and 30 seconds to go to maximum race time. 45 minutes allowable for a race. Can INEOS Team UK get across the finish line before that clock hits 0 and make it 3 from 3?
Surely, if they make this with 2 minutes to go, we're never going to hear the end of it from our friend Mr. Atteridge on the water.
Okay, going back 10 seconds.
Let's go onto the water. Nathan, what do you think? Do they make it in time?
Well, if they make this jibe, they're going to make it. They're getting more confident by the second, and look at that. That's a glamorous jibe. Just holding the foil a little bit soft still. And out nicely. Very nice jibe there. And I think that they are going to make it at about 2 minutes to spare. What would you know?
You know what that says to me?
He's going to be incorrigible. Is that the right word?
Yeah, incorrigible, and he was smart. Surely, what a race. Take it right to the limit.
They've changed to 4 legs.
Lots of questions today
on the
about
box. We have this finish line, Ben. Trying to get there as quick as I can.
Certainly, Ben Ainsley has answered them.
Yep, easing it. Can all the way out here.
INEOS Team UK are going to make it 3 from 3 in the Prada Cup Challenger Series. They have blown everybody away, and they've done it in style. Goodness gracious me. INEOS Team UK with race 1, round robin 2 of the Prada Cup.
Not sure if we made it or not. Yeah, no, I think we did it with 2 minutes. That's fantastic. Yeah, I think we did it with 2 minutes. Great sailing.
Okay, Nathan, go ahead. Take the lap. Come on, 2 minutes. Take the lap.
Reds, we start at 5:10.
Look how tired those grinders are. They worked hard.
Well, Nathan, we can come back to you because I think it was Ben Hayes who said, well, I think that was the 2 minutes, lads, wasn't it? So were you having a wee chat with him at the same time?
Wow, what a difference. What a difference a couple weeks makes. Just full credit to their design team and engineers and all the people doing all the hard work. And you know what? He keeps deflecting the credit, Shirley, but leadership, teams can crumble in those situations. That was shocking to the world, right? And with all the money spent and all the time spent, and good for that guy for keeping it all together.